Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to start this event a little bit delayed, but we cannot stand delaying it even more. So let me invite to the center, to the stage, two persons which will help me to open this event. Director Wojciech Łaptaś from Kraków city, and Maciej Malawski from Sano Science Center. There should be with us a third person, Gabrysia Konopka-Cupiał from Jagiellonian University, but she got sick. So I'll just welcome you in the name of university with her few of her words, not exactly all of them. But now I will give the mic to Director Łaptaś.
Thank you very much. On behalf of President Stanisław Mazur, I would like to read this short letter. Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, I'm honored to welcome you to the opening of the 14th edition of the LifeScience Open Space Summit 2024. It's an honor for us that our city will once again host good leaders, innovators, science entrepreneurs, and investors from the life science sector. Life Science Open Space is a unique event that has been a platform to exchange knowledge, experience, and ideas for years. Its goal to support scientific and business cooperation and create synergies will be contribute to the development of the modern medicine, biotechnology, and health technologies. The city of Kraków is the partner of the events, actively supports the development of the life science sector. Thanks to cooperation with prestigious institutions as Jagiellonian University, Life Science Klaster, and International Research Foundation SANO. And we have the opportunity to create a space where innovation can become a reality. For years, Kraków has stood out as one of the most dynamic, scientific, and innovative centers in Poland, and the life science sector, and one of the pillars on which the development is based. Thank you. I would like to thank you, the organizers, for creating this amazing forum. I cordially invite you to fully engage in the Life Science Open Space Summit 2024 program, and I wish you inspiring moments in Kraków. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I have pleasure to welcome everybody at this Life Science Open Space event on behalf of SANO Center for Computational Medicine, which is an independent research institution here in Kraków. SANO means health. That's why we are here, especially if we focus on the digital health. At SANO, we are a research center, so we develop computing technologies, simulations, computer simulations, digital twin technologies, of course, artificial intelligence solutions targeted for improving medicine and healthcare. So yeah, I'm happy that we will have dedicated sessions to the digital health, which are really the key for us and for everybody. Yeah, we have also a keynote speech today, also covering these important topics of in silico, so in computer models of medicine and healthcare. Yeah, I hope we will have a very inspiring event. So yeah, welcome everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Maciej. And that's now my turn. I need some help. Excuse me. First of all, I would like to address a few words in the name of on behalf of our host, Jagiellonian University. As I mentioned, Gabrysia Konopka-Cupiał, Director of Technology Transfer Center, got sick today morning and she couldn't make it to the conference. But she sent me a few words just to remember what she wanted to say. I will not read all the letter because that's a little bit too long. But basically, first of all, we are in the premises of Jagiellonian University. It's a very beautiful place, as you see, so you can enjoy this place. Actually, yesterday we have noticed that it will be a lot of kilometers today made if you want to be in all places here. So maybe you start your step counter and you will collect all this information later on how much kilometers you did made. Basically, coming back to Jagiellonian University, as you know, as you probably should know, this is the most prestigious, the best #1 university in Poland, employing 4,500 people, researchers, and over 37,000 of students who can gain knowledge in 166 fields of study. Jagiellonian University is part of the International European Alliance, which includes 11 powerful European universities. I will not list them because it's 11, as you see. There are a lot of interesting infrastructural potential that will help us, and we will see, or we will listen. You will have the opportunity to listen today few presentations from Jagiellonian University, which will relate to those facilities, like, for example, National Synchronous Radiation Center, Solaris, and others. That's one of them to mention. Also, Jagiellonian University is a home or starting point of a few interesting startups, like Encage, Into DNA, Actavatir, and others. Now, what is important to stress is Jagiellonian University has a special focus on cooperations with the socio-economic environment. Therefore, CITRU as a technology transfer center is very open for any kind of collaboration, which we'll be talking later on about, because as Gabrysia wanted to say, stress, nothing is impossible for CITRU. So welcome you very warmly in the name of Jagiellonian University. And let me now kind of officially open the event on my own. This is my greatest pleasure to open this seminar, this conference, because I'm doing this for 14th year, 14th time, and this has always been a very kind of stressful moment up till the moment when there is opening. Now it's happening. It's something which we start like the journey. So preparation to the journey is more difficult than the journey itself, I believe. So we started. Now everything is on your side, and you will be responsible for the rest of the conference. This conference is about collaboration. That's very important to stress, this collaboration is in a domains which are very important for our health, which means it's important for everybody and for whole life. That's why we support this type of collaboration opportunities for you. To make it happen, to happen, that collaboration will something you will expect, you will take out from this conference. You should expect, or I should say, you should demand from speakers that you will be inspired, motivated, or engaged in challenging project and brave ideas. And to that end, let me briefly explain. That's a very important part of my introduction. Let me explain in which way you will be benefiting from this conference. You may benefit from this conference. Actually, we have listed 7 types of benefits in this case. First of all, collaboration sessions. Collaboration sessions are today and tomorrow, and during these collaboration sessions, you will have an opportunity to listen to the pitches, collaboration pitches made in the 4 different, let's say more or less different areas, like medical technologies, digital health, lifestyle, and DentTech. And those collaboration pitches, so this is one dimension, those domains, this is one dimension. Second dimension is the categories of collaboration, because we try to listen to list these categories in order to make sure that every pitch you are listening, besides the keynotes and discussions, panel discussions, every type of presentation is somehow related to the opportunity for collaboration. So you have here, and you will pick up the categories like open innovation, when you do something and people do something and need help to progress one step further. Project results, when the people are realizing projects, and those projects should be disseminated. You should have access to those projects, to results of this project and test or whatever, try. Project calls, these are opportunities for the next projects to start collaboration. When you have an idea for the project and you are looking for partners who could pick up this idea and go together. Pre-commercial technology offers, this is category we introduced because a lot of scientists wanted to say what they are doing, not yet being sure about what is in which way, in which direction these developments are will develop. But it's good to know early that something will happen on the market, and then the last, not last, but also new interesting collaboration opportunity. Collaboration pitch is about development tools. There is this type of categories we decide to invite into the program, in which we think you should know about something which is important for the development. So it's not strictly the sales offer, it's a kind of information about what kind of tools are available on the market or are being developed. And the last one, which will not happen this year, but this is, I want to say about this because it's very, very interesting, is the challenge. So we welcome we welcome especially industry to challenge us, to provide some kind of request to solve the problem they have, and they will greatly pay $1 million for the solution if they like it. So this didn't happen this year, but it happened in previous events. Those pitches in the collaboration sessions are not invitations to the dialogue, to the scientific or technological discourse. These are invitations these are pitches about the progress, about the next steps taken to collaborations, about opportunities, and you should look at these pitches in this way, from these perspectives. The next, this is only first benefit from the event. And this happens today. We will have these 4 sessions, 2 here and 2 in the other room, focused on different types of life science technologies and collaborations opportunities. Today afternoon we have yet another today night actually we have yet another benefit and kind of opportunity for inspiration, which is the networking event late afternoon. And tomorrow we start with startup scene, which is yet another way to propose collaboration between this stage, early stage, in this case early stage development efforts and the industry, business, investors, etc. Then tomorrow we have also the special session on translating digital health into the healthcare. This will be a discussion made here, and this is kind of important part of the dialogue we want to foster, we want to promote, because we should not only talking about we think we should not only talk about the development, but also in which way and in which direction this development should be implemented, and what are the bottlenecks in implementing, translating these technologies, these ideas in healthcare. And then the last session for tomorrow, it's also very interesting, I believe. We are doing this for the second time, session about questions that matter. We invite experts not to answer the questions, but to ask questions and discuss about why these questions are important. So this would kind of wrap up of whole conference. But there are 2 other also benefits. First is exhibition on the on the second floor, so you can always enjoy the direct talks with those who want to share, have more information, than want to share something, maybe sometimes to explain, to show something, to let you experience event. And seventh, most important, maybe for many of you, it's a beautiful Kraków. So that's why a lot of people come here to see the city of Kraków. So that's all from my side. Technically, each session will be led by leaders, so please welcome leaders, and each time they start working with you, leaders are responsible. Those are not professional, I'm not sure what is the English word, conferenciers, and people who are aimed to lead such a conferences. Those are experts as well, and they will be very helpful in providing this dialogue between the kind of listeners and also those who participate, who pitch their offers. We will of course have those great persons who will deliver us keynotes and keynotes. Actually, those experts who want to share with us ideas which will make us think about this later after the conference is over. So also we welcome them very greatly. We have partners besides the SANO and the Jagiellonian University. There are others helping us, supporting us in this endeavor. That was the Komar Healthcare represented here, Raivu Therapeutics, and also EIT Health, which Klaster LifeScience Kraków is part of. So please enjoy your stay here. Be brave. Where is the photo? Sorry? Be framed about collaboration. That's the point. Make photos and share this information with others that you are participating in the LifeScience Open Space opportunity. Tomorrow at the conference, during this last two sessions, we will have also some kind of nice announcement. For some of you know about that. Some other will be a little bit surprised, but it's something very new and worth to discuss. So please, again, welcome very much to LifeScience Open Space, and I invite our first speaker, Thierry, to talk with us about making healthcare safer, more affordable, and more efficient with in silico technologies.
Okay. I should be working like that. And well, thank you very much to the organizer. And by the way, you were stressed just before the start of the meeting. I can tell you this looks like a very, very nice meeting, very well organized, so congratulations for that. I want to thank all the people for inviting me, especially the Klaster LifeScience in Kraków, SANO, and this very prestigious university. I will not try to pronounce the name because my Polish is not that great here, but thank you for that. And thank you for all of you to be present today, because that's very, very important here. Well, thank you for the weather as well. I've got the opportunity to enjoy the weather yesterday, making a lot of tour of Kraków up in the sky because we were not allowed to land. But having said that, I'm not complaining because I was very impressed by the safety that they were taking care of us. I arrived here 6 hours later, maybe, but I was really impressed by the kindness of the Polish people, trying to do whatever they could in order to make sure that we can arrive to Kraków in a very safe way, getting us food, getting us drink, and so on. So thank you to the Polish people for that. So I'm Thierry Marchal. And as you can see, I'm the President and Secretary General of the Aviation Alliance. I will mention that later. I'm also an agent of a liaison for the ISO International Standard Organization, member, e-health expert to the European Commission, and I'm also the chief technologist for healthcare at Ansys, a large American company developing this kind of software. I'm not saying that to impress you about my background. I'm saying that to impress you about the importance of computational modeling and simulation. You are in the right place, but together, it's very important that we are doing quite a lot of things. And one of the key elements is that we've got a very important mission. And I say we. I didn't say I. Because I can tell you that alone, there is no way that I can fulfill this mission. I better retire immediately. We need to make sure that we are bringing safer, more affordable treatment for the patient faster. I've got my daughter, my sister, who died from cancer when she was only 54, waiting for a treatment. We need to accelerate this kind of things. We need to make sure that this is going there. And along this kind of element, you can see that, wow, that's a very nice element. There are some things, be safer for the patient, faster design, cost-effective and affordable solution, and trust by the authorities. If we are just using simulation to design some new product like what we have done for the last 25 years, that's good. But keep in mind, I've been told that getting a new product approved can take 10 years and cost €500 million. Who can afford that? Certainly not the startup that you mentioned will be there to tomorrow, while this kind of in situ approach can make it. And many people are saying, okay, yes, indeed, the human body is something very complicated here. But despite this kind of complexity, we need to create some reliable and validate model. And I'm always pushing back when people say, okay, but an airplane is much easier because the geometry are always the same, easy to create and so on. Look at the complexity of the airplane. So it's quite similar to the complexity of the human body. And there are different kinds of pillars that we are willing to follow to do that. Is this kind of digital transformation, this democratization of simulation, because not everybody can get access to simulation. We need to make sure that non-experts can use it. Clinicians, and I've seen some clinicians here, can take advantage of that. And even in the future, patients, all of us, need to be able to do that. That's what I mean by democratization of simulation. You parents, you grandchildren, will need to be able to use that. No way they can do it at the current level. And I'll be talking about digital twin for that. That's the mission, that what, why, and how we can do it. Well, I've got this kind of dream, long-term dream, the personal digital avatar. A digital twin, not of the generic body, a digital twin of yourself, connected to each of you in a very safe way in the cloud. Think about that. If we've got this kind of element, and by the way, I know some surgeons who are already doing that, that means that you have a digital twin of yourself. Before going to surgery, the surgeon can try different approach. And by the way, if the surgeon is killing your digital twin, that's okay. It's just your digital twin, provided that you will do the best possible surgery later on. We can see that for medical device company, they can implant and try to see what will be the best implant for you, so that you will have only what will work fine. On the opposite, that means that all these medical device company can test this kind of new device on a large population, all the one who've got this kind of digital twin. When we are talking about pharma, the dream of pharma is the right dose for the right patient at the right time. Yes, indeed, you can take this kind of medicine, but well, if you are a child or an old people, if you are a big fat person or a very tiny person, that's not the same things. So if we can adjust that in a proper way, that will be quite important. And I would say even the hospital equipment company are looking at that. So step by step, we can see that there are a lot of benefits of this kind of personal digital avatar. Can you imagine in the future that you've got some kind of smartwatch or smart pacemaker and so on, telling you, okay, you'll get the flu in a few days. That's too bad. In a few days, you were planning to go to ski or to go to the Bahamas over there. If you got the flu, you cannot do that. But this kind of smartwatch will tell you, okay, take this kind of treatment, and everything will be fine. Treating the disease before it happens, that could be this kind of a dream. Well, I can see in your eyes that you are saying, okay, this guy is completely crazy. That's a nice way, but impossible to do it. You'll see. We'll go there step by step. So I'm the president of the Avicenna Alliance. What is this alliance? In fact, we have been created in 2016 at the request of the European Commission. They like this kind of in situ approach, but they say, okay, it's very difficult. So can you bring together people from the pharmaceutical world, the medical device, from the software industry, people from academia, just like from the industry, people from the regulatory authority, and bring them together in terms of collaboration that you were mentioning this morning, in such a way that we can accelerate medical innovation, making sure that it will be safe, more affordable, and cost-efficient using in silico method. In silico method, compared to in vivo and in vitro, means on the computer. And we are only focusing on in silico method, not because we believe that in vitro and in vivo method are not good, to the contrary. We think that this kind of in silico method are very nice complement to all the solution. But it's very important that we can focus on this one ourselves. So that's one of the key elements to collaborate, because definitely no one, not the largest industry, not the largest academic organization can do it alone, so we need to collaborate. And as you can see, the Avicenna Alliance is created 50% from academia, and all the academic people here, I would very strongly encourage you to join this kind of VPH Institute or organization to contribute these things and to make sure that you are getting more visible. And 50% are industry. But in the industry, you can certainly recognize large companies like Medtronic, like Stryker, like Edwards, Dassault, Ansys, and so on. But also, so many small companies, Silico, 4P Pharma, Numerologics, and so on. All these kind of startups are joining force to be in contact with the industry leader, but also to have a real impact. But that's not enough. We are also working very closely. I've got monthly meetings with the FDA, with the EMA, with all these standard organizations like DIN, ASME, ISO, and so on, in such a way that we are moving the needle. That's really the collaboration, this kind of ecosystem that you were mentioning earlier today, and where we are welcoming anyone to join us to make sure that we are changing, to make sure that together we can reach this kind of mission that I was mentioning. But let me come back one step, because people who are less familiar with this kind of model may wonder, okay, what is this kind of modeling, this kind of computational medicine proven by Sano? So let me take one example that we can extend it to many things. As many things in healthcare, we are starting with the patient. But this patient, we can scan it. You are going to the hospital, you get an MRI, a scan, and so on, an X-ray, and we can create this kind of medical imaging. From the medical imaging, with a tool like Materialize or Simpleware, we can create a 3D model, for example, of your bone or any part of your body. That's starting to be interesting, because with this 3D model, we can do some kind of virtual surgery, like putting some kind of implant. We've got the nice geometry of what you are. You. Not a generic human. Well, that's not enough, because we've got all material properties. The porosity of your bone, which can be different from people to people. And guess what, unfortunately, these material properties from the blood, from the bone, from the soft tissue, they will be changing as a function of your life. For example, ladies, and this is not sexism, but 2 out of 3 ladies will suffer from osteoporosity when they are getting old. So we need to take that into account. The third element is that, well, you are all sitting here. That's good. Enjoy yourself, relax. That's not always the case. Quite often you are working, possibly with some elements, so there are different kinds of activities. And when we are looking at all that together, that means that putting together the geometry, the material properties, and this kind of activities, we create what we can call a digital twin, a computer model. But we have to be very careful about what do we mean by a digital twin. So that's why I create this different level of digital twin. The first level is just what I was creating, a kind of a generic digital twin that you can see for the heart, for the respiratory tree, for the breast, very important, for breast cancer, the brain, and so on. That's the first level. Extremely interesting to see what is the working environment of different devices. But the second level is when we are patient-specific. So that means that we are taking a scan of you, and by taking the scan of you, like a thoracic cavity here, we can recreate this kind of model of your own heart. You will say, okay, well, it will take forever. 20 minutes. We have a collaboration with a Simpleware from Synopsys. In 20 minutes, if you are going to the hospital, we scan your thoracic cavity. 20 minutes later on, we can have the simulation of the blood flow in your own heart. And this could be applied to respiratory tree, to the brain, to all these different elements. And therefore, we've got this kind of level 2 of the digital twin. That's not enough, because a digital twin needs to be connected to the physical twin. So that means that your heart, for example, if you have a pacemaker over there, you need to send some information to your digital twin and get back some information from the digital twin. This is this kind of connection for all the different organs. And the fourth level, there is some slide missing, but the fourth level is that we need to connect all these organs together, because the heart is influencing the liver, or is influencing the brain and all these different activities. That's the kind of personal digital avatar. And you might be wondering, okay, but I can see the interest of me, for me, as a person, because if I get a good, reliable, validated model of my heart, for example, I should be able to predict what will happen if I could have a heart failure in the future. But why is the industry, all the startups that you were mentioning, doing these kind of things? Well, they are very kind to do it. Well, let me show you this kind of good practice that they've got. In fact, when you create a reliable, fully validated model of the heart, or the skeleton, or the brain, and so on, you create a kind of virtual human laboratory. That means that when you start creating a new device, like this kind of collarbone implant that you've got here, you can put it on the patient and see what's going on inside the patient. You are creating this kind of working environment of your new device. And you can see whether this is working well or not, whether this is dangerous for the patient, whether it will fail, especially in the heart. Well, if you're putting an implant in the heart, you will have 10 million cycles, this entire product life cycle. Will it sustain these kind of things? Well, let's try to model that to understand that better. Well, that's the first step. The reason why industry have been using this kind of modeling and simulation for the last 25 years. But there is another point, because to some extent, you can put that in cadaver, you can put that in animal, you can put that in human being, and get some information. One of the problems is that we are all different. Look around you, look at your neighbors. You are different. So you can do some clinical trial on a few hundred, couple of thousand patients, and that will give you a small model of the total human population. But if you can do this kind of testing, create this kind of very large population of cerebral aneurysm here, and therefore you can introduce all the new device, you know what's going on well, not for a generic human, but for the entire population. That means that we can reduce the cost, the time, and the safety for the patient. And that's not enough. This is indeed what people have been doing for the last 10 years. But well, as I was mentioning, getting a new product approved by the regulatory authority is costing a lot of money and taking a lot of time. How can we address that? Well, we've been working with these authorities, starting with the FDA for the last 15 years. And guess what? Since 2017, you can submit some simulation result to the FDA, and they will accept this kind of things, provided this is very well validated according to the VNV 40, which has been published, a new standard. So right now, you can do this kind of approach. One example, which is used quite extensively recently, that's coming back to my sister that I was mentioning some time ago, dying from this kind of a cancer. There are more and more modeling for the cancer, either for the diagnosis, for the evolution, and for the cancer treatment. At the center, this is a very nice work done by the University of Zaragoza, predicting the growth of a tumor cancer for pediatric application. And they were able to get a good accuracy, 90% accuracy, for the growth and shrinkage of the tumor cancer. Something extremely interesting for the authorities. You will say, okay, that's nice, but a key question, can I trust that? At the end of the day, this is just, I'm showing you plenty of nice, colorful picture. That's good, nice eyes candy, but what about my life? Well, here is an interview of a good friend, Professor David Hoganson. He's a pediatric cardiovascular surgeon at the Boston Children's Hospital. He had been working with simulation for the last 6 years. And he was telling me that he has created 1,100 computer models of children. In each of these cases, it was a question of life and death. And the children was about to die within a year or a few years from them. But he was doing simulation in order to see what would be the best surgery that I can do. And even better than that, he was using the simulation to explain to the parent of the children and the children, here is your problem, here is how I can solve it, giving them more confidence, making sure that they are feeling reassured for that. So yes, indeed, we can trust this kind of solution, although we continuously need to validate the approach that we are doing. Let me come back to this kind of big dream that I've got, this personal digital avatar. That sounds impossible to do it. And by the way, I didn't connect with the organizer here, but this slide is very much in line with what you were saying, collaboration. There is no way that we can achieve that, and therefore we need to be part of a large ecosystem here, working with the hospital, with the regulatory authority, with the academics, with the software, computational power partner, startup, and so on, with the large industry. If we're collaborating together, the next step would be the digital transformation. How can we recreate this kind of model? And by the way, this is not just creating a model of a heart or a valve and so on. We need to look at every single place. What are the materials that we are willing to model? Are they biocompatible? Are they sustainable? This kind of green environment is important, including inside the healthcare. Can I create some model, digital twin? Can I run a lot of simulation? Out of all the simulation, can I extract the right trends using AI? Can I use it for this kind of regulatory approval? So this is this kind of digital transformation. Every single part should be part of the approach. The next step is what I was mentioning, this kind of digital twin of each organ. And as you can see by some example here, that's already the reality, either for the knee, for the respiratory tree, for the eyes, for the heart, that you can see here for the brain, and so on. There are more and more people, and I would encourage a lot the startup, because several of this work have been done by startup. So this is where I can see a lot of dynamism to go into this direction. And that's interesting, but this is not making a big breakthrough. So that's why I want to go one step further. Can we not replace? People are scared when I'm talking about replacing clinical trial, and that's not the point. But precede clinical trial, but also reduce, refine, and later on we can replace them. This is this kind of process. But let me first explain to you what is a clinical trial. In fact, an in silico clinical trial is making sure that we are testing a new device, a new drugs, in a large number of virtual population. The virtual population can be all of you, for which we create this kind of digital twin, a computer model of all of you. And if we do that, we can collect some information. Two work that I'd like to mention here, the work of Professor Alex Frangi was able to repeat a clinical trial done for cerebral aneurysm, and he repeat that on the computer, getting the same result, faster and safer. Or this amazing work done by Professor Marco Viceconti here, who wanted to analyze the impact of a new treatment for orthopedic activities. Well, you need to make sure that you can predict the evolution of this treatment for the next 10 years. That means that if now you've got your new treatment, you need to start a clinical trial that will last for 10 years. Let's keep in mind that when we are talking, when we are testing that, patients are dying or patients are not feeling comfortable. So we need to accelerate this process without taking any risk for the patient. That's the big challenge for us. Well, he was saying, okay, let me take 1,000 patients to consider a different kind of scenario, when they're falling, when they're getting a different kind of material properties and so on, and model what will happen for the next 10 years. He created a model that he has validated for that regulatory authority accept these kind of things. The computational time would have been huge. 800,000 simulations, about 2 hours for each of them. 1,800,000 CPU hours for that. That's huge, about 1 century for that. Except that today we've got, like what we are developing at Sano, this kind of very large computational capability. They did this kind of clinical trial that would have spent for 10 years in 2 weeks, and getting some reliable results that they were showing to the regulatory authorities. That means that we can collect a lot of information. That doesn't mean that we will completely replace the kind of clinical trial, this kind of post-market surveillance, but that means that we can accelerate the treatment arriving to the patient. And that's a little bit what is done right now, except in US, not yet in Europe. And by the way, Poland will be leading the European Union next year. You'll have the presidency. Let's take advantage of that. I'm working with the European Parliament. I'm working with different MEPs, including from Poland. Let's try to make sure that they understand these kind of things. Some people may be wondering what will happen in the US for the next 4 years. Okay, that's what they will do. We cannot change that. But what we can do is to take the leadership from Europe. So clearly we start from the device, and we can create some kind of virtual population. There will be no limit for that. We can consider hundreds, thousands, why not millions of virtual patients in the future. By that, we need to create them by the geometry. Let me take an orthopedic example here, but it could be cardiovascular, it could be anything like that, including for the pharma. So the geometry that you need, the material properties, and clearly the status of the patient. What are you doing? Are you in a good situation? Do you have some disease that we need to introduce over there? By the way, and I was mentioning that I'm working with DIN, ISO, ASME, and so on, because standards are something very important. If we are developing some model, people will say, okay, yeah, that's nice, that's good to understand, but I want to have some standards so that I can make some reference. If the standards are making reference to in silico method, if in this kind of ISO standard or DIN standard or whatever you can name them, they are saying that indeed we can do this kind of testing with this kind of in silico method, that will put us in a much better situation. Of course, we need to have access to computational power. Guess what? People like Amazon, AWS, Microsoft, Google, and so on, they see that there's a very good opportunity. Can you imagine 1.8 million of computational hours for one product and one test of this product? But this is very good because we are going faster. So all these cloud organizations are very interested by that. That part of a kind of global system, and we've got all that combined with the real-world evidence, because we are still working with what's going on from the clinician. We are working hand by hand with them. That means that we can produce the results. That's not enough. That's not enough because that means that you have the right environment on your place. But look at all the large companies that are spread around the world. They don't have access for the startup to all the computational power. We need to make sure that all that could be available online. And therefore that you can provide not only the results, but the validation, the V&V, verification and validation of that. If you've got that available online, that means that you can submit that to the regulatory agency. And by the way, this is already happening in the nuclear industry today. And we see that happening in healthcare. In the future, this regulatory authority will not ask you to submit this kind of result anymore, but submit this kind of simulation activities. So I see that time is coming short, so thank you for mentioning that to me. By the way, those are some examples of ISO standards that we have pushed over there. Right now, you can already study all this kind of worst-case scenario, push on the wrong button, on the computer, and it is only the worst-case scenario that you will be able to test on the real activities. So you may wonder, okay, how can we do that? In the past, computational models were something with a big question mark. And it was interesting for me as an engineer, and many of us, it's okay, but we need to change the mind of the people in Brussels, in Washington, and so on. But I say, okay, well, first time I had to do that, say, me, speaking in the European Parliament? Come on, well, we are not speaking the same language, but I did it. And we were to visit some senator to speak in front of the European Parliament, to go to the US Congress, to go to Strasbourg, even last year to go to the Brazilian Parliament in Brasilia. As a result of that, things are changing. The FDA accepts this kind of data. It's okay, that's in Europe. But look at that. This is a text and some amendment that have been voted in Strasbourg this April, and 80% of the people accept, and this is the official text of the European Union, the fact that the regulatory decision-making can be done via in silico method, computational modeling and simulation, mechanistic modeling, digital twin, artificial intelligence. The European authorities are using this kind of word, the word that we are very familiar with here. And for the industry, that's a big value. This was already in 2017. Medtronic showing that by using a kind of validated computer model of the heart, together with the implant, we are reducing the clinical trial in agreement with the FDA, reducing by 2 years, bringing the new pacemaker to the patient 2 years in advance. And therefore, they were reducing the clinical trial by 256 patients, reducing the cost by $10 million. But what is interesting, during these 2 years, they said that they were treating 10,000 patients. And what they didn't mention, but I did this kind of homework, the cost of a pacemaker is something like $10,000 for one pacemaker. So globally speaking, this was giving them an additional revenue of about $70 million. Time to market is always the most important. That's the kind of things that we need to tell to the startup as well. That's changing your life. This is making sure that you can go along this line. And as I've got 1 minute left, there are several ongoing discussions at the top level. You can recognize people from the FDA, people from Medtronic, from NDIC here. We need to keep talking with them. That will be one of the key activities from the Poland presidency next year. Let's try to show to Europe that Poland is a place of innovation, that Poland is a place that will be driving this activity for the future. Because right now, if this is done in US, as you can see all around the world, we see that there are quite a lot of organizations who are willing to move into this kind of direction. This is not just Europe. We are leading the entire world. The entire world is willing to go into this direction. That allows us, as a next step, to create this kind of clinical application, making sure that we can help clinicians making the right decision. And typical illustration, this is a digital twin already in the hospital of Rennes here, when you are creating a computer model of the patient, and you say, okay, is it okay? If yes, come back in 1 year, come back in 9 months from now, and we'll update your digital twin. If the digital twin is predicting some kind of concern, that's where the clinician, who's the only one making the decision, will say, okay, well, let's investigate what's going on, digital surgery, and possibly going to the surgery. If you don't trust me for that, talk to Paul Maurice over there. He's a surgeon. He's using this kind of method, and he's fully convinced that this is the future. So this is how, step by step, I'm convinced that we can make my big dream, this kind of personal digital avatar of each of us. And when my daughter are coming to my home office saying that I'm working too late, I keep telling them, okay, because of what I'm doing with all of you, they will be living 20 years longer and healthier. So they're telling me, okay, keep working in this case. Well, just one last word. AI is very important because AI is a way, simulation, in silico simulation, is a way to provide more data, validate data for AI. And therefore, we can validate this kind of new technology for AI, but vice versa. When we don't have some model, like this kind of work for cerebral aneurysm, we can make some observation to refine the model itself. That's all I believe that we can go from all these steps. And as you can see, by collaborating together and going through this kind of a pyramid, combining that with digital twin and AI, we can reach this kind of personal digital avatar, making sure that we will be removing most of the healthcare trouble that we can say live longer and healthier. So here, one of the key points, keep validating always the model. That's one of the information. We need to make sure that what we are showing represent the reality. that this kind of clinician can trust us. The second point is that regulators are open to that and are willing to push it in this direction. We are moving to this kind of personal digital avatar, and clearly, you are not alone. That would be the key message I want to give to the startup tomorrow. You should not reinvent the wheel. You should work with the ecosystem. We are here to help you to be successful because you are the future of our own health here. And sorry for being a little bit too late, but one of the key elements is that we need to join force together here. And I would strongly encourage Poland. I'm very impressed by that. Surprisingly, this is my first trip to Poland here. I've been traveling the world, never take the time to stop by in Poland, but I'm missing that. I should have done that much earlier here. Let's work all together and change the world for parents, for ourselves, and for our children. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Thierry. That was actually a very great presentation, very great keynote. Thank you very much. I will not let you ask questions because we will stay here till the night. Thierry will be with us tomorrow during the session, Questions That Matter. So we will have an opportunity to continue this discussion maybe, but I would say challenge accepted regarding the Polish presidency.
So let's work together for that. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we'll start the sessions, the collaboration sessions. So I invite first.